The Green Bay Packers suck, and the Chicago Bears were getting there. What's going on? I'm Dan Levy, Bears latest, Fan Art Sports. Welcome back as we break down more of the Chicago Bears as we start getting into the thick of training camp, and we are starting to get closer and closer to preseason and especially dual practices. What's going on? Once again, I'm Dan Levy, Fan Art Sports, Bears latest. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all the goods. You know what to do. Let's keep having these conversations. And first and foremost, a lot of people are having a lot of issues right now. Bears Fest again, which was supposed to be more of a pep rally, has caused great concerns for Caleb Williams. How concerned are you? Let me know exactly where you are concern-wise. I've talked to a lot of people in the media. They are very concerned, more concerned than they're going to tell you about, because a lot of them stuck their necks out. A lot of them said, we are all in. This dude is generational. He's got talent, but it's a little weary right now. There's a lot of things right now, but there's also the other side. There's the other side of this. Where do we say to ourselves, it's time to relax, and guess what? It's just practice. Here's my thing. What we've seen out of Caleb Williams last season was pretty awesome considering the cards that were stacked against him. That's number one. He comes into this one a lot more not really sure of a third offense he's got to learn for 3 years in a row. Remember, he's coming from USC. He's coming from a busted-up offense that went haywire last season. And then we got Ben Johnson, and we have intense Ben Johnson. And once again, Bears players, they want guys that are going to be very, very, very into them. They're going to be coached up. They want these drill sergeants. I've been around it. But once again, with a guy like Caleb Williams, we may have one of those guys who is too much in his own head. We saw this before with Mitchell Trubisky a few years ago. It got to the point where they couldn't even keep the televisions on because all the TVs were showing different sports channels, and they were all crushing Mitchell Trubisky to the point where he could not play. This place also ruined Justin Fields with all the different looks he was getting as well. Now we got Caleb Williams, and the long and short of it is again, we don't know what this season is. What I do know is that Ben Johnson is intense. What I do know is that they are making an offense right now that is going to be completely and ready for Caleb Williams to take this over. We have not seen, here's something we have not seen from Caleb Williams at all, media included. We have not seen any long bombs from Caleb Williams. He's done a couple of good short passes. You can go online and you can see him do a couple of good routes to DJ Moore, which seems to be his go-to guy again. And why wouldn't you be? That guy's awesome. And then we saw film of, during the practice, Caleb Williams throwing at one of those pitching nets with the pockets in there. And he misses 3 in a row, turns around. You can see that he's visibly angry at himself. Usually that shouldn't matter, and usually that should say to people he cares. The bad news is that the Bears deleted that footage. They deleted it, which means somebody cares. I don't care. I still have hopes for Caleb Williams and all this. I am still one of those people that thinks that, we're not really seeing the real Caleb Williams right now. We are seeing Ben Johnson put this guy through a barn burner. We are seeing him just getting crushed with a brand new offense that Caleb Williams has no real idea about, and they're going to keep fine-tuning it down and cutting it down to the point where it gets to just maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 plays that Caleb knows that he can function through and excel, and they're going to just give him that. But we're still seeing the mistakes. We're still seeing pre-snap issues. We're still seeing the clock run down on Caleb Williams. These are unacceptable things, but they're teachable. You could teach a guy to get better at that. You could teach a guy to do that. But is this a case of Caleb's in his own head? Is he just one of those things where right now he's not even functioning? And it kind of reminds me, this might be a term over a lot of people's heads, but the television show Cheers, they once had Kevin McHale, NBA Hall of Famer. He came in to do a guest appearance, and then they gave Kevin McHale, they said, how many screws do you think are in the parquet floor? And then Kevin McHale went from a Hall of Famer to the guy who got so obsessed that they showed him during the game trying to count the screws in the parquet floor. Is that what we're seeing with Caleb Williams? I'm not sure. Is he so much into his own head, trying to make sure that Ben Johnson is happy, trying to make sure that this new offense is fluid with him? Or is it one of those things where it's just he's trying to do what he can do right now, but we're not going to tell until the time is right? Is it time to panic just yet? No. The team hasn't even played its first preseason game yet. New players often need time to gel, and that's especially true for an offensive line, which underwent major changes. However, the urgency is real. If you're a Bears fan, it's okay to be a little, oh, snap. I'm not really sure what's going on. We went from this is going to be the greatest duo to what's happening here. Is Caleb the right guy, or is Ben Johnson too much? The pressure is all on Caleb right now. Again, his rookie season had its bright spots. The flaws were noticeable. His body language came under fire last season, and early reports from camp suggest those concerns still exist. Caleb is only 23 years old. His development's going to take time. And again, for those of you that are counting and figuring things out, they have less time to practice. Every practice means everything. And right now, it is very much under a giant spotlight. Last season, the offensive line allowed 68 sacks last season. Chicago's front office responded with big changes, but even talented linemen need time to come together as a unit. Unfortunately, time isn't a luxury this team has, especially considering the tough early schedule. Plus, they just don't have a lot of time with camp anymore because of the Players Association. The NFC North is stacked, and guess what? There is still a battle going on for left tackle. So until they get figured that out, that's going to mean that everybody is going to have to get along together, and they're going to have to figure out who the left tackle is, and then they got to gel. Ben Johnson is looking to elevate, but the early results are mixed. It's lot's going to be early growing pains on him as well. And let's just say this for the sake of saying it. Ben Johnson's got a lot of expectations going on. There's a lot of things he is trying to squeeze, and he is trying to change the culture. Ben, the culture has changed. You mixed it up, dude. You took a salad and you tossed it. Pun intended for that one. You tossed it. Nobody has any idea what's going on. We all know how intense you are. Everybody's buying into this one. But is it enough for the Bears to get it together this early? Is it worth making things so difficult right now that you're spending precious time in these practices? And did you mess with Caleb Williams' head so much that he may not even be effective? What are your expectations? You said it out loud. It was a sloppy Bears fest. Sloppier than we were hoping it would be at this point. It's harsh, but they reflect exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is, and people are very nervous about what's going on. And though everybody wanted Ben Johnson, this is the guy that we want. Are you doing too much with too little time and making it worse? You may have actually gone too much. You may have kicked outside your coverage, and for once, we're not talking about you marrying a hot wife. We are saying you may have gone too much and may not have enough time this offseason to reel things in. We'll let you know. One thing that we are looking at and we are happy about, if you're a Bears fan, is this freaking defense. My God. Despite the Cubs playing at Wrigley and Lollapalooza taking over Grand Park, the Bears still drew a strong crowd. They had 23,000 people show up for that event during a Cubs series and Lollapalooza, and the defense dominated. It's something that they're going to have to address, Ben Johnson said, that the offense is not reacting to this defense. Dennis Allen actually made it to where this defense is cooking. And there are rumors right now that Micah Allen could be in a trade talk going to the Bears. There's a lot of rumors out there. There are draft picks to be given. And if that is added, oh my God, what will that be? And again, if you're worried out there, the left tackle position, looks like Ozzie Tropillo, it's going to be his. I'm pumped for this one. Braxton Jones is also rotated in, but the competition for starting left tackle still remains spot on. I want to see Ozzie. I'll be honest. The guy's got personality. He's tough. He's younger. This is something that we need to see with what's going on with this Bears team. So again, my thoughts to you are this. I'm going to pose this one to you. How concerned are you with Caleb Williams and this offense? And do you put the pressure on Ben Johnson or Caleb Williams for this season? Here's the good news, Bears fans. The defense is going to give good position. The defense will help the Bears out a lot. But like last season and years before, when the quarterbacks are struggling and the offense is not doing great, there's only so much that defense can bail you out until they get tired. But one thing that will never get tired and one thing will never get old saying is this: the Green Bay Packers suck. Bear down. It's going to be okay. Everybody relax. We'll see how this goes. I'm Dan Levy, Bears Latest, Fan Art Sports. Comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. We'll see you again. Bear down. Packers suck. Ditka. The Bears.